Hi guys, Rebirth here to bring you the final chapter of this Ichigo analysis series. It has been such a fulfilling journey thus far, and you all have made this such a tremendous success. I truly believe that each and every single one of you has come to appreciate Ichigo Kurosaki's character in your own unique way after watching this series. Unfortunately, I do have to bring you the final part of this multi-chapter series. It's time to take a look at Bleach's new arc, Howl from the Jaws of Hell, and you might think that there's not much to discuss here. But oh my dear viewers, when it comes to cubology, there's always a lot to discuss. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please do not hesitate to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. As of my writing of this video, we are sitting at a little over 19,000 subscribers and the number is rapidly rising. Be sure to join the realm if you find what we do here entertaining. Without wasting any further time, let us begin. In August, Kubo blessed us with a one-shot chapter that is seemingly meant to kick off a brand new arc for the series. In this chapter, called No Breaths from Hell, we are reintroduced to our favorite substitution Yagami, Ichigo Kurosaki. Now, I'm going to come at this from a unique perspective. I'm first going to elaborate on what we learn in the arc, and then I'll speak on the importance of where we could go with this. I think you'll find it very interesting to consider, and it should get your cubology brains cooking, which is always my goal when I write these videos. We catch up with Ichigo, who is at Keigo's new ramen shop with a few friends. The more I see of Ichigo's dad haircut, the more I like it. It's basically Ishin's hairstyle with a tinge of Ichigo awesomeness in it. Renji invites him to a Kanto Reisai, a ritual performed for captains who die in battle 12 years after their funeral rites. Rukia and Ichigo have some fun banter. I especially laughed out loud at Rukia accusing Ichigo of keeping Orihime at home to do the chores. Ichigo is based, as you can see. JK, I'm only joking. I'm sure he and Orihime have a nice homemaking relationship that keeps both parties satisfied. Later on, Ichigo meets up with the other lieutenant and we get more information about adult Ichigo. He converses with the others in a very laid-back, casual manner. Kubo seems to try and showcase the way in which all the respective parties interact. I imagine that if you took the same situation and switched out these adult characters for their younger selves, there'd be much more chaos and childish antics, but right now, despite their comfort level being extremely high, it's still mature. We come to understand that Ichigo is a translator. Now, as to what he's translating exactly, I'm not sure, but I think it's quite intriguing that Ichigo is a translator. Allow me to explain. The reason I like this touch by Kubo is because the principal job of a translator, at least a language translator, is to read, understand, and comprehend a piece of one language and convert it into another language for someone else to understand and comprehend. It requires a fairly deep understanding of two different cultures, and quite possibly, Ichigo could be a master at translating multiple languages. That warms my heart because so much of Bleach has to do with different soul types in constant modes of disarray. Ichigo, in many ways, is the embodiment of a translator for the Bleach world. He is and continues to live his life as a human being, which allows him to connect with souls of humans who just died. He is also a soul reaper and has extensive knowledge of the Soul Society and the Shinigami customs, some of which he agrees with and some he does not. He has voiced his displeasure with many Shinigami concepts over the years, and some of his opinions stretch from his understanding of what it means to be human. You also see that Ichigo has experience in what being a hollow is like. Obviously not as much as a true hollow, but he can understand characters like Grimmjow, Harrybell, and Nell to some level, certainly better than most Soul Reapers can. And even though he has the least connection to his Quincy heritage, his innate Quincy abilities and his relationship with Uryu and Ryukin, who were Quincy's, allows him to have a decent amount of perspective on the Quincy lifestyle. My point here is, Ichigo the translator fits his character in more ways than one, and I love that Kubo gave him that job. Ichigo and the others are then ambushed by beings we come to know as ghouls from hell, and Ichigo and the other lieutenants make quick work of these monsters. Szayelaporro makes his return to the Bleach franchise and ambushes Renji and his daughter Ichika. Renji is struck by Hell's chains, but Ichigo slices them apart with extreme ease before confronting Szayelaporro. It is at this point that we get the revelation about Soul Society's captains being thrown into Hell. Ukitake Zanpakuto pierces Szayelaporro's body before he is able to reveal too much. As he is returned to Hell, eyes begin to form on the skulls that guard Hell's gate, and seemingly at the center of all of this is Ichigo Kurosaki's son, Kazui Kurosaki. Now, I recognize that there wasn't a lot of characterization for Ichigo in this chapter, being the first chapter of a new arc and all, but I want this video to be an exercise in what we have learned thus far. This is where you can put all your lessons to the test, and you can set the bar for what you want from Kubo in this coming arc. Allow me to elaborate further. All the aspects of storytelling I've spoken about over the course of this series has been focused on events that have already happened. The Bleach story was largely concluded when I made my analysis, and the truth is, having the ability to see things from the start to the end makes my analytical job much easier. I try my best to give you the insight into what I was thinking back when I initially read the content, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of my opinions have been shaped by my ability to know the story from start to finish. But now that a new arc is seemingly upon us, we can put Kubology to the test. We can hold Kubo accountable, and we can test out these concepts I have tried to lay out for you all. And so, allow me to share with you what I think about Kubo's future as it pertains to this new arc. I think you'll find it quite intriguing. One of the most important aspects of Kubology I have tried to highlight is the idea of the deconstructive narrative. It's the process where authors of a certain character will isolate a character or ideal and break down the essence of who they are in order to expose the true reality of said concept. Kubo has deconstructed Ichigo Kurosaki many times throughout the story of Bleach, and I have championed this approach by Kubo. But there is something important to understand about deconstruction as it concerns characters. If you isolate a specific part of a character and say that you want to deconstruct it, after the process ends and the character has been broken down and built up again, you have to make sure you do not fall into the trap of deconstructing the same thing again. This is a rather basic, straightforward concept that makes a lot of sense when you just stop and think about it. In the Arrancar arc, Kubo deconstructed Ichigo by exposing his reaction to his hollow threatening to take over. He became incredibly depressed, and we had to sit through and observe how Ichigo reacted to his life spiraling out of control. At the end of that cycle, Ichigo learned that running or ignoring his fears would solve nothing and faced it head on, allowing him to defeat White and gain his hollification ability. Now, after doing all of that, imagine if when Ichigo fought Ulquiorra and lost control, he decided to do the exact same thing he did before and retreat into his shell and not want to do anything else. That choice would just erase the work we did in the last arc to get Ichigo to this point in the first place. The point I'm trying to make here is that you should not deconstruct the same character weaknesses more than once. If you do it once and the character grows as a result of it, you should not do it again. Not for the same weakness. If you are going to deconstruct your character again, you need to focus on a different aspect of his psychology. That brings us to this new Hell arc. Ichigo has come a long way since the start of the story. He's a grown man with a wife, a family, and a job. Coming off the heights of the Fullbring and Thousand Year Blood War arc, Ichigo is not confused about who he is. He's a guardian of the oppressed and the weak. Be it a wayward soul that needs saving, or an entire military organization, Ichigo is there to protect you. He is no longer haunted by memories of his mother, and he no longer blames himself for her death. There are no doubts in his heart concerning these things. He overcame despair and stands proudly as the substitute Shinigami of Karakura Town. So now that Hell is threatening to take over the world as we know it, how should Kubo handle this? I believe that it is still beneficial to the character of Ichigo and the overall story of Bleach to deconstruct Ichigo again. Now, if you've read the chapter, Kubo places Kazui in a very prominent role and sets him up as an important character moving forward. From destroying the vestiges of Yuha's energy in the last chapter of Bleach, to now seemingly leading souls to Hell, there is no shortage of questions surrounding the character of Kazui Kurosaki. But here's the interesting thing. We've had two chapters where Kazui has been showcased, 686 and this Hell chapter one-shot. Between two of these chapters, we have not seen Kazui and Ichigo interact once. We haven't even gotten hints of what type of relationship they have. Kubo goes out of his way to give us information on Renji's and Rukia's relationship with Ichika, and I love them for it. It's truly heartwarming. And look, I know it's only been two chapters. I'm not saying that Kubo needed to show us anything. I'm just pointing out that Kazui and Ichika are the flag bearers for the next generation of Bleach heroes, being the offspring of majorly important characters in Renji, Rukia, Orihime, and Ichigo. He gives you information on the Ichika side, but gives next to nothing on Kazui's. I believe that this is by design, even though I realize that this isn't necessarily groundbreaking. I believe that we're going to go from deconstructing the teenager in Ichigo, the traumatized son, and the unpowered Soul Reaper to deconstructing the conflicted father. That's right. I think that it only makes sense to explore Ichigo the father, but not just him as a straight up father. No, much deeper. How has being a husband to Orihime, a translator as a career, a soul reaper as a desire, and a father to Kazui affected Ichigo's life? Is it perfect? Or is it difficult to balance all these aspects of himself? What important occasions has he missed as a result of hunting hollows? How did he introduce Kazui to his spiritual awareness? How does he feel about Kazui being a bit of a free spirit who refuses to be caged? And most importantly, on the scales of importance, being the guardian of the oppressed and the weakened, how will Ichigo react to the reality that his son has been unfairly sending seemingly innocent souls to their ultimate demise? Should Kazui become deranged and fall into ruin? What does the substitute Shinigami who saved the world twice before do in that situation? How much love does a father have for his son in comparison to the existence of the world? These are the questions that Kubo should ask and explore in great detail. Yhwach's blood runs through the veins of every Quincy, including Ichigo and his son Kazui. Kazui seems to have inherited a significant portion of Ichigo's power. One of the most unique things about Kazui is that when he transforms into his Shinigami form, he does not separate body from soul. Instead, his soul overtakes his body. White was transferred from Masaki to Ichigo upon birth. Did Kazui inherit some aspect of White, or will Kubo take this in a unique direction? Ichigo's Quincy power manifested itself as Yhwach's visit from 1000 years ago. Does Kazui share this ability? And will he have an updated Yhwach personification? Old man Zangetsu seemed to have retained memories of Yhwach himself and conducted himself as such. Would an older personification be the Yhwach we most closely remember? It's not impossible. Furthermore, one of the biggest sources of Ichigo's woes was the lack of balance within himself. Being a human, Hollow, Quincy, Fullbringer, and Shinigami was a source of great concern for Ichigo because all these embodiments are constantly at war with each other. Ichigo did not have to deal with being a Soul Reaper until he was 15, and his spiritual awareness wasn't high until just before he met Rukia. In contrast to this, Kazui is a young kid and already has enough awareness to perceive Soul Reapers, Hollows, and Ghouls. He already has enough power to seemingly summon spiritual animals like the koi fish he rides on, and his connection with spiritual entities seem to be so strong that he can open gateways to hell. And he's just a kid, like an actual kid, not like a 15-year-old. He's an infant child. All the signs right now tell me that we're headed towards an intimate clash between father and son. In the same way that Yhwach was the one to kill the Soul King, one he referred to as his father, and then had to do battle with Ichigo, one he called the Son of Darkness, is Ichigo fated to cross swords with his own son for the greater good of the world? And if that is the case, what choice will Ichigo make? All of these possibilities are getting me so excited for what is to come for the character of Ichigo and his relationship with Kazui. If Kubo plays his cards right, we could be looking at a truly heartfelt tale about a line of powerful figures in Bleach history who were seemingly destined to cut down their own fathers. Yhwach did it to the Soul King, Ichigo did it to Yhwach, and now Kazui might do so to Ichigo. I am so ready to see where this goes. Well guys, that brings my Ichigo Kurosaki series to a close. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this as I have poured my heart and soul into this series. I have tried my best to get you guys the best possible content I can, and while I understand that it's not always good and I'm not always right, I have stayed true to my vision and interpretation of Kubo's magnus opus, and I believe that the term Kubology will become a mainstay for the Bleach fandom moving forward. I would like to officially announce that the next 2 character analysis videos will be on Orihime Inoue. We're going to take her through the Kubology filtration process and see what gems we can extract from her character. After that, I think it's time we visit the God King himself, Sosuke Aizen. Anyway, with that, this is your boy Rebirth, bringing you the best Bleach content in the business. Signing off, until the next lesson, see ya.